so 2.6 review. Solving absolute value inequalities. So remember our steps. Get the absolute value by itself. Check for no solution or all real numbers. I'll go over that again in a minute. But you're looking for greater than or less than a negative number. So if you've gotten the absolute value by itself and you have greater than or less than a negative number, it's going to be one of those two. Excuse me. So write two inequalities. One positive, one negative. And remember, on the negative one, you flip the inequality. If it was greater than, go less than. If it was less than, go greater than. And then solve each inequality. And graph. Graphing really helps you write your answer. So, all right. So let's look at a couple. So this one, the absolute value is by itself already, and so I don't have to do step 1. Step 2 is check for no solution and all real numbers, but the 11 is positive, so I'm good. So I write my two inequalities, but remember the second one, I flip from greater than to less than and do negative 11. Okay, so when I go to solve, I get x is greater than 4, and excuse me, I solve this one. Less than negative 7. So when I put my numbers on the number line, greater than 4, less than negative 7, so they go in opposite directions. That means it's an OR problem. So I just write it out. Okay. All right. Alright, so a little bit more to this one. So you'll have some that are like this. So always start, if there's an adding or subtracting part, do that first. Okay, Okay, then do the dividing part in the front, if there is one. Okay, so absolute value is by itself. The 8's not negative, so I just keep going. Write my two equations. On the second one, flip the sign. And then solve the two inequalities. So when I put my numbers, negative 12 would go over here, 4 would go over here. They're both and equal, so I color them in. Less than 4, greater than negative 12. So that means it's an and problem. So I just combine them. Okay, so graphing really helps because you just drop the numbers down. X goes in the middle. Okay. Alright, so remember, if you have the absolute value by itself, and you have a negative number over there, absolute value is less than negative 10. So remember, the absolute value is always a positive number. I can plug in whatever I want for x. I do times 3, then I do plus 4. And if it's a negative, it's talking about distance. Distance is always positive. So I have a positive number less than negative 10. Well, that's not possible. So no solution. Okay, if I had absolute value greater than negative 3. So same thing. This is always a positive number. Doesn't matter what the number is. Is a positive number greater than negative 3? Yes, always. So the answer is all real numbers. Okay. So I will tell you that there's at least a couple of them on your worksheet today that are going to be that. There could be more. Okay, you just got to make sure that you get the absolute value by itself first. Okay, and write the two equations. In chapter 1, a bunch of you got some of these wrong because you only wrote one equation. This is inequalities, but in chapter 1 you did equations. Okay, make sure you write the two inequalities and combine your answers together, either with the word or the combo one in the middle for the and problems. Okay? Alright, so I think it's just 9 problems today, so it's not too many. And some of them do end up being no solution or all real numbers, so they're not like super long. Okay? But all the rules for inequality still apply. If you divide by a negative, multiply by a negative, you got to flip the stuff around. So you'll have to do that on at least a couple of them. All right? Okay. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.